Welcome live to the Theatre Royal in Nottingham for a production that's peculiarly named Five Blue-Haired Ladies Sitting on a Green Park Bench. And the star of the show is Anne Charleston. Nice to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you.
Now, it's an interesting titled show. What's it about? I think the clue's kind of in the title, really, isn't it?
It is, actually. I mean, that describes it pretty much. Certainly Act 1, because in Act 1, that is all you get, is five blue-haired ladies sitting on a green park bench and chatting.
How interesting is it on a scale of 1 to 10? Because it doesn't sound terribly interesting. Sell it to me.
Well, all I can say to you is that the reaction of the audience has been absolutely fantastic, and they love it. They seem to really love it. It's a wonderful combination of pathos and comedy, which is fairly unbeatable, really. And the comedy is very, very funny, and the pathos is very, very moving. I mean, you get just about everything you want.
Now, can we talk a bit about you? Because you're now living in Ireland, aren't you?
Well, I've lived there for 10 years.
Why Ireland?
I love it. My family are Irish.
We know about your stuff in Australia. We'll talk about that a little later on, if you don't mind. But let's talk about your life now. You're over in Ireland.
Well,
you're touring as well.
Well, this is what I've been in England since February. I've had a few days there a few weeks ago. That was all.
This is what I was going to discuss with you, because when you're not in Australia, you seem to be touring up and down the country. So when do you have time to rest?
Well, I will have time to rest after the middle of July this year, I hope. And I'm going to go home for a good few weeks. I'm
sorry to mention the P word, but does pantomime beckon?
It's beckoning. I don't know whether I'm going to do it yet. We'll see.
It's a difficult life, that, isn't it?
It is. I had decided I wasn't going to do panto at all this year, but then a friend of mine has offered me a production and done a pool, so I may do it.
On stage, you've done so many roles. What do you enjoy doing? Do you enjoy being a comedy character, as in this part, or more serious, or in pantomime? What do you enjoy doing?
I enjoy doing stuff that's well written. And I don't mind whether it's on stage, on film, on television, or on radio. As long as it's well written and interesting, I like to do it.
Is the stuff being produced these days and written as good as it was?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean, I think this play, for instance, is beautifully written. And, I mean, that's why the audience reaction is so good and why it's so easy to play. And it was incredibly easy to learn. And it's incredibly easy to learn stuff if it's well written.
What's the life like of an actress? Do you get a pile of stuff come through every morning and you have a leaf through it and then just see what you want to do?
Not at all. I mean, things tend to happen out of the blue. I mean, last year I was on tour with a coward play, and I was in Western-super-Mare for my sins, and I got a phone call from Australia to say Caroline Aherne wanted me to do this series, Dosser and Joe, and completely out of the blue. And I said, yes, I want to do it, and I went out to Australia and did it.
It's been an incredible success, that programme, hasn't it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, apparently it doesn't have a large number of viewers, not this time, but I'm sure they'll replay it. Because of the language, it's way after the watershed.
There was some wonderful controversy around it, as I remember, because the BBC had sent it to everybody, hadn't they?
The BBC treated it as junk mail and downloaded it onto people's videos. Which, not exactly a good idea, I wouldn't have thought, but hey. I'm not the head of the BBC.
Well, if you got extra viewers, I suppose it was worth it from their point of view.
Yes, but I mean, a lot of people didn't want it on the videos because they had children, and it was put beyond the watershed quite advisedly because of the language. So,
what was it like working with Caroline? Because I've seen so much written about it and heard so much about her, but she's an incredible talent. That's what people forget.
Amazing. I mean, she really is a comedy genius. She's extraordinary, and the way she works, she makes it all appear accidental, but it's not. It's not, because she's got a vision and she's incredibly focused.
I mean, when she did Mrs. Merton, that was a work of genius. Oh. And then so different when she did The Royal Family. But it's all observation, isn't it? It's being observant and picking up on things.
That's right. I mean, her observation of human characteristics is quite extraordinary.
Now, let's talk geography again, because you've worked a lot in Australia, you tour a lot in England, and you live in Ireland. Yeah. Which is the best then? Which is your favourite?
Oh, well, I love being at home in Ireland, but the trouble is I can't get work there. For some reason, I've had no work in Ireland, and it would be nice if I could get some work that would keep me at home for a while.
Is there any work out there to get?
Well, yes, of course there is. There's a heap of stuff happening. But I don't have an agent. Well, I did have an agent there, but when I left the country 4 times and she didn't even notice, I kind of decided that I didn't have an agent there.
It was probably best to change, wasn't it, at that point?
Exactly.
Neighbours, though. What was it like for you being in the most successful soap at the time? I mean, it was on twice a day. It gets more ratings than Coronation Street and EastEnders in the 2 showings. What was it like for you to be in it and then coming back here and having the response from everyone? Because I'm sure you are just Madge to a lot of people.
I am still, and that's a double-edged sword. I mean, it's nice that Neighbours has opened doors for me, but it's not nice to think that people are going to see me as Madge for the rest of my life. you know.
I suppose, though, it's a credit to your talent that people believe in that character so much. You did it so well.
Well, that's a nice thought, but still, I mean, unfortunately, I can't change the image in 6 episodes of Dossa and Joe, sadly, because she is so much a total opposite of Madge. But, you know, maybe eventually they'll start to think of me as somebody else.
And I have to say, you were such a part of my development in growing up. Anne Charleston, it's been lovely talking to you.
Bye-bye.